Howdy do y'all, this is John, and today we're talking about Ghostbusters Afterlife, a new movie on theaters right now. And in Ghostbusters Afterlife, the grandchildren of Egon move into his old house out in Oklahoma, only to not only find his equipment there, but also the return of an old enemy of the Ghostbusters. I may have been born almost a decade after the second Ghostbusters came out, but I still had parents who allowed me to see the old movies from back in the 80s when I was a kid. And I loved watching the first Ghostbusters. I've never been a fan of the second one, and I absolutely loathe the 2016 Ghostbusters. That's just me. And this is like the first time any Ghostbusters movie came out that I actually really liked since the '84 movie. To get things started, you immediately relate to the kids in the movie. Phoebe and her brother, they have the typical brother-sister bond. They also have the typical older and younger sibling bond, and you immediately relate to them. I kind of immediately related to Phoebe a little bit, because that was kind of me as a kid. She's basically like me with movies and space when I was a kid. Except, of course, in her case, it's other stuff. And the whole Egon situation is handled just wonderfully within the film. Harold Ramis and Egon, they may not be there physically, but they're there in spirit. Egon is really the most important character in the film, and he's not even in it. But the main character's connection with Egon is what drives this whole thing forward. And the movie's story about these two kids, well, related to an arguably really famous person, and finding themselves in a situation their relative found himself to be, is a very good narrative for the film. It pays respect to Egon, it pays respect to Harold Ramis, the whole 9 yards. Really, the only kind of downer thing about the whole movie, it's the villain. I know she was great in the other Ghostbuster movie, but I'm not so sure about bringing her back. Not only is she not executed as well as in the other movie, but I just thought it would have been better with a more original villain. An original villain that may have had a connection to her. Not only that, but in the original movie, in terms of execution, she's a lot better done. I'm not naming her because bit of a spoiler. In the original movie, she was this very intense villain that showed up in the finale, and you got the feeling of the world's ending in it, but none of that's really present this time around. In conclusion, Ghostbusters Afterlife is a good sequel to the '84 movie. I'm very glad that something like this finally got made. I wasn't a fan of Ghostbusters 2, even less of Ghostbusters 2016, but finally we got ourselves a sequel that is really what we've been wanting for decades out of a new Ghostbusters, despite the villain setback. I'm gonna give Ghostbusters Afterlife a 9. Well, that's all the time I have for today. Please like this video if you enjoyed it. Please also subscribe if you're new to the channel. And as always, please remember, the Podetsky will return.